Adilakshmi.
Thank you for being here and thank you for having me. I've been where all of you are. I started my journey as an entrepreneur. So I think I'm going to try and change what I had in mind and I'm going to try and tell my story in a different way. I'll set the scene a bit. It was 2013. There were four of us. We were in London at a McDonald's, four friends. And we go not past the counters to the back of the kitchen and we peer into what is called the grease trap. I think only people in the food and beverage industry know this term. It is the grossest place you can find in a kitchen because that's where all the washing goes down the drain and it's the foulest smell you've ever had. So two of them backed off. Two of us stood there very excited looking in saying, okay, what are you going to show us next? And they took us to another grease trap and it was clean. And the two of us looked at each other and I said, we're doing this in India. And, we took 2 years to get going. We started the business in 2015. It was, grueling. We had a product we had to import. We built a business model for India. In about 3 or 4 years, we had 130 outlets, including, McDonald's and Taj and malls, you name it, between Bombay, Delhi and Goa. And things were looking, amazing. In 2019, we crossed a revenue of 1 crore in the business of drainage. And the next thing you know is 2020, lockdown. And it went down the drain, literally. And with all puns intended. But I think it would be lovely to stand here and tell you about, it was obviously, we've all built businesses, some of us for 30 years, we built ours for 7 years. But I think the harder bit was not being shut down by COVID. I think the hardest bit for me began a little earlier. And COVID was the blessing in disguise. So, the tipping point, the reason why I really accepted this opportunity was to talk about the personal. I think that is more significant than, losing a completely thriving business. And the link to that is the relationship with the co-founder. We couldn't make it work. And I think that took a toll in a different way. You see success from the outside and, you're celebrating milestones and doing a lot of things, but at what cost? So success on the inside looks different. Can you go to bed feeling happy that you've done everything you could? And I couldn't. And those years were the hardest. I was building the business brick by brick and, we had agreed on roles and responsibilities. But there's one thing when you have those conversations, but it's a completely different story when you're executing. And I think there are pressures, expectations internally, which, we feel we need to ignore and deny and sort of stick with the business part of things and, just keep going at any cost, at the cost of your health, at the cost of, peace of mind. And I think those are very heavy prices to pay. So one of the things is, aligning the success, what success feels like inside, to your success outside. So for me, ignoring that signpost was, deadly. And the second bit was, I think Raju said, be yourself. And that's very hard because I don't think people like all the version of who you are. And I think the step one is to know yourself. Because till you don't confront your default, patterns, your scripts, you're not going to get past it. All of us as entrepreneurs, we have a bit of an arrogance, a chip on our shoulder. We know we can do it. but who's holding the mirror for you? And I think you need to find the people who hold the mirror to you, on how you operate. We have, all of us know, okay, I'm good at numbers, or I'm really good with operations, I can deal with people. But how many of us know how to have difficult conversations with a colleague, with your co-founder, with a client? And I think there's something really significant in knowing what your default scripts are. And I mean, thank God COVID happened, at least in my case, because I don't know how long I'd be, trying to keep things going. And the big sort of discovery for me was knowing my default script. Why couldn't I quit when I felt like this is it? I can't pull this along alone. And I realized that my default script was, I'm an overachiever. Overachiever. I don't know how to quit. I've been whatever, all-rounder in school captain, been to, study in the US. I've founded a non-profit before I started this. Failure wasn't an option. I mean, I didn't know. It was just strive, you get it done, and that's it. So where do you draw the line? So I think knowing your default script, well, at least in my case, was very sad, discovery to know that I just couldn't quit because I didn't know how. It meant, the end of a partnership. It may be triggering something back in my childhood that, it was like my parents' marriage ending. And, it feels as real and personal as that. So I think there's a lot of focus to strive. And I think as women, we have those pressures. You just talked about, asking for help. I was late in asking for help. And it took me a while to, just get back to whatever I needed to do. And I think for women, there's a double whammy, unfortunately, because we get labeled quite quickly. So you can be the pushover, or, you can be the, sorry for language, bitch in the boardroom, or you can be the martyr and suffering, or the, Ma Durga and handling everything. But I think the advantage which we don't really exploit is having empathy and power, both. How can you embrace both those things? And I think you need to be, well, a bit humble, confront, your issues, why you may have a chip on your shoulder, or what, makes you go off in one direction, but also really embrace the empathy that comes with women. I think I'm just speaking to the three men in the room now. It is a superpower that women have, and I don't know, I mean, I've yet to meet a lot of men who can embrace empathy and power, but I think that's our super strength. So these were some of my, learnings, and what I've done now since COVID is focused on, my personal transformation started, in my difficult times. So I did a lot of personal development work since the early, 2017 onwards. And I think just finding out more about myself led me to realize that I wasn't the only one. And, women need that extra push. But we are also very resistant. Like, try and convince a woman that she needs help, and, sort of bring them here. It's impossible because we just will not admit it. And I think that's, you need to be pushed. And sometimes you fall flat. So in my next phase, what I realize, and I love the idea of finding your cause. I think finding your cause is important. So for me, personal transformation, helping people know that life can be different. I think that's my cause now. And I'm building community wherever I go. And I hope to be more part of this community in, different ways. The work I'm doing now is working with a company in the UK. And we're looking at leadership development in different ways, looking at group and team dynamics, because I've learned a lot about that, as well as also behavior change. So that's my next journey. I still haven't figured out what the business model is for India, but I'm working on it. And I think I've found the thing I want to do, which is build community. And I'm amazed at the work you guys are doing and would love to be part of it in any way. And I think just these forums, people should come in, talk about the struggles a little more, because I think those are pretty significant. Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Adi Lakshmi.